difference between supply and stock. Stock is the total volume of a commodity which can be brought into the market for sale at a short notice. Supply means the quantity actually brought in the market. Learn more about supply in this video class.
Supply. The amount of a good or service that the producers are willing and able to offer to the market at various prices during a period of time. The supply is defined as a schedule of quantities of good. Is there any difference between quantities supplied and supplied? Yes, there is. Quantity supplied is the quantity offered for sale at a particular price. Supply is the schedule of various quantities of good at various prices. Can you tell the difference between stock and supply? Are they same? No, they are different. Stock is the total volume of a commodity which can be brought into the market for sale at a short notice. Supply means the quantity which is actually brought in the market. The ability and willingness to offer should be there. The producer has ability to offer but not willing. It is not supply. It is just stock. Stock is potential supply. The quantity of goods that producers are able and willing to offer depends on the price. At a higher price, more quantity can be offered. The high price of a product serves as an incentive for the producer. More quantity is offered at higher prices. Quantity offered at various prices are different. The supply means the schedule of quantities of goods at each price. Will the schedule of the quantities of a commodity that would be offered for sale at all possible prices remains constant during a period of time, say 1 year? No. At a specific point in time, the supply remains constant. There is no change in supply. Supply is constant at a specific time. Things change and so does supply. We can prepare supply schedule for a particular period of time assuming that the quantities supplied at various prices remain constant during that period. The period may be a day, a week, a month, a year and more. We say that these are the quantities offered against these prices during the period. What about free goods? Can we include them in supply? In economics, free goods are not included in supply. But why? Income is not earned from sale of free goods. Economic activities cannot be continued further. Additional goods cannot be produced. The production process stops. The quantity of goods offered free are not taken in supply. What about goods produced and kept for self-use? Are they included in supply? No. Goods produced and kept for self-use are not included in supply. Why? Goods offered for sale to the market are taken. Goods kept for self-use by producers are not offered for sale in the market. Hence, they are not supply. The free goods and goods kept for self-use are not brought to the market for sale. They are not supply. Supply schedule. Price in the first column, quantities in the second column. Price 500 and quantity 100. When the price is 510, the quantity is 150. When the price 520, quantity 200. 530, 225. 540, 250. 550, the quantity is 275. This is a supply schedule. What is it? It's a table. Prices of goods in the first column, the quantity that would be supplied at each price is given in the second column. This is a method used to show the different quantities of a product that a company would need to supply based on different price points. Demand for a commodity is inversely related to its price. Supply for a commodity is directly related to its price. Demand means the quantity of a given article which would be taken at a given price. Supply means the quantity of that article which could be had at that price. The basics of quantity supplied is price. Supply schedule represents the relation between price and quantity the producers are willing to produce and sell. We can construct an individual supply schedule. What is supply schedule of the market? We can construct a supply schedule of the market by totaling up the amount supplied at various prices by all the sellers in a market. If the data from the table is charted on a graph paper, we get a supply curve. Supply curve. Price along the y-axis, quantity along the x-axis. When the price is 500, quantity is 100. When the price is 510, quantity is 150. When the price 520, quantity 200. Look at the points on the curve. Price 530, quantity at 225, price 540, quantity 250, price 550, quantity 275. And this curve is called a supply curve. The supply curve shows the quantity that producers are willing to supply against each price. It shows the quantity of a product supplied at different price levels. The supply curve normally slopes upward to the right of the chart. Customarily, the price is plotted on vertical y-axis and quantity on the horizontal x-axis. It is assumed that the prices of the input and productivity of the production process remains unchanged. Only one variable changes quantity supplied. Which one? That is price. The supply curve is the schedule drawn in a graph form. What is the difference between quantity supplied and supply? Quantity supplied is the amount that will be sold at a specified price. Then what is supply? It is a schedule of quantities of goods or services, say apples, that will be sold at various prices at a specified time. All other things remain constant. Supply is a whole bunch of quantity supplied points stringed together. Different quantities are supplied at various prices. These make up the supply curve. There are other factors which can influence quantity supplied. That is, factors other than price. Which are they? State of technology, prices of inputs, prices of related goods, etc. While preparing supply curve, we assume that these factors remain constant. If they change, it can lead to a shift in the supply curve. left or right, it depends. But it will be taken as a new supply curve. Supply time price. Supply of a commodity is related with time factor. Price of a commodity rises, supply should be increased and time is very short. Supply can be increased only up to the stock available. New goods cannot be produced during a very short period of time. Take the second issue. Price of a commodity rises, supply should be increased, time is short. Supply can be increased up to the limit of existing production capacity. Production capacity cannot be increased during short period. Take the third situation. Price of a commodity rises, supply should be increased, time is long enough. Supply can be increased beyond existing production capacity. More resources can be employed. Supply can be increased to any limit. Now, let us take the other side. Price of a commodity falls. Producers would like to decrease the supply. Why? They want to minimize their losses. And price of a commodity falls. Producers would like to decrease the supply. Time period is very short. Let it be 1 day. If the commodity is durable, they will not be selling the stock available. But if the commodity is perishable, they will have to sell the stock available. Supply cannot be reduced. Then the second issue. Price of a commodity falls, producers would like to decrease the supply. Time period is short. Let it be 1 week. Production can be decreased up to the break even. There is no profit, no loss situation. The third situation, price of a commodity falls, producers would like to decrease the supply, time period is long enough. The producers will stop the production of the commodity, they will use the productive resources to the production of other commodities. Supply is a flow and is always measured in terms of time. Determinants of supply. Supply of a product is a function of its price. Supply depends on other factors too. While drawing supply curve, we assume that they remain constant. What are they? Production technology. The change in technology changes the cost of production. Unit cost of production declines. The producers would supply more goods at the given price. The entire supply curve would shift to the right. Prices of resources. Example, wages increase or prices of raw materials go up. The cost of production increases, unit cost of production will rise. Less would be supplied at a given price. Supply curve would shift to the left. Prices of other products. The price of rice rises. Reduction in the production of rice. The farmers withdraw land and other resources from the production of rice and devote them to the production of wheat. The supply curve of rice shifts to left. Number of producers. If the number of producers producing a product increases, the market supply of the product will increase. the supply curve shifts rightward. If the number of producers decreases, supply curve shifts left. If the firms in an industry are making large profits, new firms enter that industry. If the firms make losses, some of them may leave the industry. Sellers' expectation about future prices. If they expect price rise, they would reduce supply of a product. Taxes, excise duty or sales tax. It increases the cost of production. Hence, supply curve shifts to the left. And what about subsidies by government? The supply curve shifts to the right because cost of production decreases. Law of supply. Higher the prices, greater the quantity supplied. Lower the prices, lower the quantity supplied. Other things remaining the same. Higher the prices, greater the quantity supplied. Lower the prices, lower the quantity supplied. How can you explain it? When the price of a commodity increases, more profit can be earned by producing and selling more and more. If the price increases, it will motivate the producers to produce more quantity. It will motivate sellers to sell more quantity. On the other hand, if price falls, producers produce less quantity and sellers do not sell the stock. Price of a commodity serves as an incentive for producers and sellers. Law of supply. Supply price quantity. Supply curve slope upward. Price increases, quantity increases. Price decreases, quantity decreases. Price fall too much. What will happen? Supply may dry up altogether. The sellers will refuse to sell at a low price. The seller starts to buy his own stock. The price is called reserve price. At reserve price, stock is withdrawn from the market. And above reserve price, stock is given to the market. Supply curve slopes upward from left to right. Why? Can it slope downward? Can it be horizontal? You are a producer. Why do you say that more quantity of commodity would be produced and supplied in the market only at a higher price? If you sell more quantity at less price, then supply curve slope downward. If you sell more quantity at the same price, then supply curve will be horizontal. To produce more of a product, firms have to devote more resources to its production. When production of a product is expanded by using more resources, diminishing returns occur. Due to the diminishing returns, marginal cost of production increases. To cover this higher cost of production, the firms will be forced to sell more quantity at a higher price. Under conditions of constant returns, the more will be produced and supplied at the given constant price. In that case, the supply curve will be a horizontal straight line. If there are increasing returns, the more will be supplied at the lower prices. The supply curve will be sloping downward. Since diminishing returns is generally the rule, the supply curve generally slopes upward to the right. assumptions. The law of supply states that other things remaining the same, higher the prices, the greater the quantity supplied, and lower the prices, the smaller the quantity supplied. The quantity of a commodity that firms will be able and willing to offer for sale in the market depends on several factors. The price of the commodity is only one factor. Other things means factors other than price which can influence supply. Here the assumption is that other factors determining supply remains constant. That is, the prices of inputs used for the production of the commodity, its state of technology, that is, the price of inputs used for the production of the commodity, the state of technology, the number of firms producing and selling the commodity, the price of related goods produced, future expectations regarding prices remains the same during the given period. When these other factors change, they cause a shift in the entire supply curve. Change in supply, movement along the supply curve, shifting of the supply curve. They are different. Movement along the supply curve, the change in supply caused by change in price. Shifting of the supply curve caused by factors other than price. While making a supply schedule or drawing a supply curve, we assume that the other factors, that is factors other than price which can influence supply, remain the same. They remain constant. These other factors are the state of technology, prices of inputs, prices of other related commodities. When these other factors change, that cause a shift in the supply curve. Example, when prices of inputs, labor or raw materials decline, they will result in lowering the cost of production, which will induce the producers to produce and make available a greater quantity of the commodity in the market at each price. There will be increase in supply. The supply curve shift to the right. When prices of inputs increase, the cost increases and supply decreases. The supply curve shift to the left. Change in supply caused by change in price. The supply change can be expressed by different points on the same curve. Change in price. Look at the graph. S dash is the supply curve. P is the price and Q is the quantity. There is change in price. Price increases to P dash. Then quantity increases to Q dash. So the point T moves along the supply curve S dash to T dash. Consider the other situation. P falls to P2 dash. P falls to P2 dash. Then quantity decreases to Q2 dash. The point T moves along the supply curve to T2 dash. So if there is extension of supply or expansion, the movement is along the supply curve upward. If there is contraction of supply, the movement is along the supply curve downwards. And what is the condition? Price changes, other factors remains constant. Shifting of supply curve, increase in supply. Price remains constant and other factors change. Increase in supply causing a rightward shift in the supply curve. Suppose there is reduction in prices of inputs or progress in technology used for production of a commodity. Productivity increases and cost per unit reduces. There is increase in supply. The supply curve shifts downwards. For the same price P, it was Q1, now it is Q2. The supply curve shifts to the right. Shifting of supply curve, decrease in supply. Decrease in supply causing a leftward shift in the supply curve. For the same price P, Q1 was the quantity supplied and now it is Q2. Decrease in supply causes the supply curve moves towards left. Shifting of the supply curve to the left. Elasticity of supply. Elasticity of supply is equal to percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price. What is elasticity of supply? Elasticity of supply is the degree of responsiveness of supply of a commodity to a change in its price. It is degree of responsiveness of supply of a commodity to a change in its price. If the price of a tablet PC rises from rupees 2000 per unit to rupees 2500 per unit, and in response to this rise in price, the quantity supplied increases from 2500 units to 3500 units, what is the elasticity of supply? Elasticity of supply is equal to percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price. If P is the price, Q is the quantity, and delta P is the change in price and delta Q is the change in quantity, then percentage of change in quantity supplied is delta Q divided by Q. Percentage change in price is delta P divided by P. So, elasticity of supply is equal to delta Q divided by Q divided by delta P divided by P, that is equal to by Q divided by delta P divided by P, that is equal to delta Q by delta P into P by Q. Now, here the change in quantity is 3500 minus 2500. So change in quantity is 1000. And change in price is change in price is 2500 minus 2000. So change in price is 500. Then delta Q divided by delta P is 1000 divided by 500 into P by Q. And what is P? The price of a tablet PC was 2000 per unit and now it is rupees 2500 per unit. Then which is to be taken, 2000 or 2500? The midpoint formula says that you can take the average. Q is Q1 plus Q2 divided by 2 and P is P1 plus P2 divided by 2. So, elasticity of supply is equal to delta Q divided by Q1 plus Q2 into P1 plus P2 divided by delta P, or delta Q by delta P into P1 plus P2 divided by Q1 plus Q2. So, elasticity of supply is equal to 1.50. Elastic supply. Look at the supply curve. Yes. When price is P1, the quantity supplied is Q1. When price is P2, the quantity supplied is Q2. Change in price is P2 minus P1. Change in quantity is Q2 minus Q1. Small change in P and there is a big change in Q. A small increase in P, a big increase in Q, or a small decrease in P, a big decrease in Q. What does it mean? Elasticity of supply is greater than 1. When a small fall in price leads to a large contraction in supply, the supply is comparatively elastic. We call it elastic supply. Inelastic supply. Degree of responsiveness of supply to changes in the price of a good is small. The price is P1 and the quantity is Q1. The price is P2, the quantity is Q2. SS is the supply curve. For a big change in P, that is from P1 to P2, there is a small change in Q, Q1 to Q2. A big increase in P, small increase in Q, or a big decrease in P, small decrease in Q. Elasticity of supply is less than 1. ES is less than 1. When a big fall in price leads to a small contraction in supply, the supply is comparatively inelastic. This is inelastic supply. Perfectly inelastic supply. When the quantity supplied of a commodity does not change at all in response to the changes in its price. Whatever be the prices, the quantity supplied is the same. Then it is a perfectly inelastic supply. And quantity does not change at all in response to change in P, and elasticity of supply is equal to 0. You get a vertical line to x-axis. Perfectly inelastic supply. Perfectly elastic supply. If at a price any quantity of good is supplied, this is perfectly elastic supply. Elasticity of supply ES is equal to infinity, and you get a supply curve horizontal to the x-axis. Perfectly elastic supply. Unitary elastic supply. Supply curve passing through the origin. Elasticity of supply is equal to delta Q divided by delta P into P by Q. Delta Q is the change in quantity, delta P is the change in price, and P is the price, Q is the quantity. P by Q is equal to slope of the curve, which is equal to delta P by delta Q. So ES is equal to delta Q by delta P into P by Q, and P by Q is equal to delta P by delta Q. We get ES is equal to 1. Elasticity of supply is equal to 1. Unitary elastic supply. Types of elasticity of supply. Unit elastic supply, perfectly elastic supply, perfectly inelastic supply, relatively less elastic supply, relatively greater elastic supply. Degree of responsiveness. Greater elasticity is the degree of responsiveness. Greater the responsiveness, greater the elasticity. Relative measure of the responsiveness of quantity supplied of a commodity to the changes in price. Factors which determine elasticity of supply of a product. Changes in marginal cost of production. Marginal cost is addition to the total cost caused by producing one more unit of output. The production of 5 units of a product involves total cost of rupees 200. If the increase in production to 6 units raises the total cost to rupees 220, the marginal cost of the 6th unit of output is rupees 20. 220 minus 200. Elasticity of supply depends on whether increase in output can be obtained without rise in cost of production. If with the increase in production the marginal cost of production goes up, the elasticity of supply to that extent would be less. Response of the producers. Elasticity of supply depends on the responsiveness of producers to changes in price. A profit maximizing producer will increase the quantity supplied of a product following the rise in price. You may wonder about producers who are not interested in profit. There are producers who respond negatively to the rise in price of their products. What is the reason? Their need for fixed money income is met by selling smaller quantities at higher prices. 5 into 4 is equal to 20. 4 into 5 is also equal to 20. How is that? Availability of infrastructure. When there is lack of irrigation facilities, the farmers would not be able to raise supplies of agricultural products in response to rise in prices. They want to do, but they can't. If there is shortage of power, how can an industrialist increase his production? How can an industrialist increase his production in response to rise in prices of his products? Possibility of substitution. The change in quantity supplied of a product following the change in its price depends on the possibilities of substitution of one product for others. The greater the possibilities, the greater the elasticity of supply. The length of time during which producers have to respond to a given change in prices of a product, the longer the time, the greater the response to output. Suppose it is very short run, let it be 1 day. No more production possible. If it is short run, say 1 week, only variable factors can change. It becomes somewhat elastic. But if it is long run, let it be 1 month. The producer can adjust all factors of production. New firms can enter or leave. Then it will be more elastic.
Points to remember. Point 1. Higher the prices, greater the quantity supply. Point 2. Lower the prices, lower the quantity supply. Point 3. Supply curve slopes upward. Point 4. Movement along the supply curve and shifting of supply curve are different.